This show on the road. Time for Dave's Corner Garage, your top-down, wind in your hair, Saturday morning automotive thrill ride. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, but right now, love us on Zoomer Radio.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Al. How are you?
Not bad, except for I got these marks on my back from when I got driven over by the bus last week a number of times. By my friends here in the studio. Where's Al? He's busy. Okay.
He's
fine.
not allowed.
His wife wouldn't let him come to the show.
He was not. So we have a guest in studio, and I have to explain. We have Nguyen from Pfaff Tuning, and Al wasn't here last week. He wasn't allowed to be here. So, of course, we let the listeners know that. And he heard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared, but then all of a sudden Steve sent me the link and I went, why don't I watch? And I watched and I went, oh, again.
Yeah. Well, I was just teeing him up and Steve was hitting him out of the park.
No worries. Listen, if you weren't here, I'd probably do the same thing.
I would expect it.
And it still smarts, huh?
So both New and I were late this morning because ironically at the X, there is the Toronto Bicycle Show. Not a bicycle to be seen, but a whole...
I saw.
Did you see one?
I saw a bunch.
I saw zero, and I was stuck in traffic for a really long time. What I did see was a bunch of badly driven Ubers taking people to the bicycle show.
Well, to be an Uber driver, you just need a license and a car, right?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, no courtesy, no skills. Just a license and a car.
I haven't Ubered enough to really that I could say, oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I did Uber once in Florida.
Yep.
And the driver didn't speak a word of English, which was okay, I guess, except that this happened to be his first day or second day on the job. And it was kind of odd, and he couldn't understand. At the top on your Waze or Google Maps, whatever you're using, there's an arrow, right? And it shows you that you're going to have to turn the next time something happens. Although it does say how many feet or kilometers or miles are underneath it.
Which lane you have to be in.
Yeah.
But this guy just thought he had to turn because there was an arrow there, and we're going no. No, and then he touched his phone and lost our destination, and he couldn't put it back because we didn't speak the same language. It was quite interesting.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
So then we had to look it up on our phone and give him our phone. Yeah, that wasn't a pleasurable experience.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Especially when he wanted to stop on the off ramp and back up.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, it was like a bad movie.
That's bad.
Most of my Uber experiences have been good. There's only been times where my destination is too far out, and then they try to grease me for cash.
Oh, that's slick. That's slick. I haven't had that. I'm just unfortunately, as a driver and coach and instructor and all that stuff, I'm just too critical of anybody driving me. So it's never a good experience.
All right. Well, new news here. She's from Pfaff, and you've been working there a long time.
Since 2020. It's been a minute, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the music's happening, so we'll get back to that in just a couple minutes. Thanks for joining us today. And too bad about traffic.
Yeah, thank you.
You didn't ride a bike, though, eh?
I did not.
No. Brian?
Not today.
You have one?
I got plenty.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
All right. This is Dave's Corner Garage. We've got to take a break, and afterwards, we'll be right back.
Automotive.
Welcome back to Dave's Corner Garage. I'm Brian Max in studio with Alan Gelman and Nguyen from Pfaff Tuning. Nice to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me again.
Glad you could be here. So what's going on at Pfaff Tuning these days? I've seen the cool cars. We were at Drive Festival.
Fest.
And of course my favorite was the Singer with their turbo study. That was my favorite.
They're pretty great. They're pretty great.
Cars. Lovely cars.
We've got to have Alan come out sometime to take a look at these.
I don't know if he's allowed out of the house.
Those bus tracks keep just...
Really. I'm going to grab one of your helmets that you got. Those.
Sure, I got some fancy.
You got a
ones,
helmet cost more than my first car.
Oh yeah, that's a couple of those.
Yeah. And actually, could we drive something?
Oh, I did.
There are test drives. There's the off-road track. There is
There's-
You can
there's-
bring your own car. I
Yeah.
think there are
An EV drive.
Yeah.
So what I did, Al, is I had a very limited edition BMW, the M3 CS, very fast M3,
Right.
And I drove it on the track.
Yeah, but you got a license.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you.
You just have to have some like track experience.
Yeah.
But I could have taken you for a spin. You could have ridden around with me.
I mean, I drove the first 2 years, and
Oh, just what I want to do. That's what I want to do is poop my drawers. Like Brian, how close are you going to get to the guardrail here? Okay, seriously.
Well, we did a little bit of that. I think I topped out at 190 on the straight, and it's weird because you drive a portion of the track backwards. So it was very strange, but yeah, I got up to 190 in that thing.
What do you mean, like with your arm looking behind you?
No, you're not.
Oh, not in reverse. Okay, you're just going back.
Yes,
Counterclockwise.
you're driving the direction of the track backwards.
and then there's the rally taxi or taxi rally. You can catch rides in the little rally taxi.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things to do. Drive Festival is a lot of fun. And,
Oh, so these aren't Uber drivers who think they're race car drivers.
well, no,
That's
but
not
there
what
was
we're talking about here.
there was an OPP driver thinking he was a race car driver. We might know a certain Sergeant Kerry Schmidt.
Well, they have to get tested. I mean, they do have to drive. You must have you ever trained a OPP or a police
No,
in driving skills?
No,
Do they
no.
have their own school?
I think they do.
I mean,
think
because
they
if
do.
they're going to be chasing bad guys, they got to know how to handle a car.
Yeah, they could. I don't think they get a lot of training for what they do.
Oh no, but you know what? I'm always close to the Allen, and there's a piece of the Allen, the infield, so to speak,
Yeah.
where they test ambulance drivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, vehicle dynamics is very important. Which is why I'm a big advocate of performance driving schools and racing schools and just taking it to the track
Driving
because
schools, period,
yeah,
yeah.
because when you need to know how your car is going to react in a situation, it's better to have all that experience first.
Yes. Best to talk about it prior instead of finding out
we
after.
live in Canada. We get
Yes.
lots of inclement weather. Car control is extremely important for all of us. I think our insurance rates would benefit from it for sure.
Oh, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
That's
I
for
don't know
sure.
about you, but did you not do donuts in parking lots, and that's how you learn to? I mean, in bad
Yes,
weather.
yes.
Yeah, that's how we learn. Right?
Statute of limitations is up. Yes, we all did, didn't
This
we?
is what I do, and this is what I not should do.
Oh, why is there a legality issue there?
Oh yeah. So I mean, Sean Shapiro would be the first one to tell us that even though it's private property, you still can't do it there
But where are you going to get your practice? Where are you going to get your chops from?
at a performance driving school.
Oh, please. As a matter of fact, and it's funny because Al's driving school, when it was in business, I took both of my daughters. One refused to go after the first time. And she said, "But Dad, I need extra help or extra mileage, extra time behind the wheel." And I said, "Well, you'll go to Al's driving school." She says, "Oh no, I'm not going to Al's driving school anymore." I said, "I'm sorry, I yelled at you, but the light had changed, okay, and there were cars coming. So I mean, just to keep alive, And
Right.
You're supposed to be, supportive." And I said, "Trust me, I'm just supporting this whole family, but I needed to be alive to do that, okay?"
Exactly.
Anyways, that's too bad. And so I took my other one, and we were practice parking in a parking lot, and then all of a sudden, a security guy showed up. He said, "Excuse me, sir, do you have any business here?" I said, "No, just teach my dog." No, get out.
Yeah, exactly.
I got asked to leave, so we did.
Yep. That's what happens. So speaking of taking it to the track, Pfaff is doing something very cool.
Yes, we are. Tomorrow is our annual 8 Hours of Passion budget track event. Each of the rooftops, the Pfaff dealerships, compete against each other with a budget track car that we've built.
How many different manufacturers or makes do you guys fix or represent?
Well, Pfaff Tuning, we will fix all of the makes. Pfaff as the dealer group, how many
Lots.
manufacturers? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. We've got quite a few manufacturers.
Oh, so you're covering the gamut for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We even have Harley, although they're not bringing a motorcycle out.
Are they bringing the car out?
No, I think they're just coming to hang out.
Oh, they're going to be
That'd
the
be cool.
coolest, though, showing up on their motorcycles,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
So at the track, you're going to see BMW, Ferrari.
Yeah, no, not Ferrari. That's
okay.
not a budget car.
No, it's true. It's true.
It's so bad.
Okay, but the Pfaff, but you do service them at your shop.
Yes. We do service them, but for this challenge, they are budget cars. So
Budget being you can only spend so much money, right?
correct.
And no, it's not a lot of money.
No, a few thousand, I think, at the beginning to buy the car, and then you get a certain amount depending on where you place the previous year.
Can you trade paint?
You're not. No. No.
For those uneducated,
That's no
that
fun.
means using your bumper to get somebody out of the way.
That's right.
Because we got to win. And winning's the name of the game here.
It is definitely.
Is there prize money?
There is a prize money, but the winner gets the least because they did so well.
Oh, that's kind of backwards.
That's smart. I love that.
All right.
Fair.
Instead of backwards, we're going to go forwards. We're going to take a break right now, and we're going to be back right after this messages.
Welcome back to Dave's Corner Garage. I'm Brian Max in studio with Alan Gelman and Nguyen from Pfaff Tuning, who's doing a little social media right now. But you know, that's how it goes these days, right?
Well, you're the expert on that.
Oh, I'm not taking selfies in the studio anymore. I used to
This
do
is
that.
still exciting for me.
It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It's very cool.
Yeah, being on live radio is it's a lot of fun. And I used to do that all the time, but I stopped doing that.
All right, we're going to talk about what's coming up. The ministry, the government they changed the rules a few years ago, but they're finally being enforced only because the date has come, correct?
Yeah, so we're talking about volatile organic compounds again, and it seems that the mainstream media has still not picked up on this. If you're listening, there's a lot of automotive care products that you currently use, some household cleaners, and some personal care products that you will not see after January 1st or will be completely reformulated and be a totally different product. So unfortunately, it takes a lot of work to understand this, and I put in the time. You have to understand two pieces of legislation, and then you got to do your research on the actual product that we're talking about. So with WD-40, for example, or Brake Clean, I had a couple of those things just sitting in my basement. Also Rain-X. Did all the research, read the legislation, read the Environmental Protection Act from 1999 to understand whether it was exempt or not. And basically, those are three simple examples of products that will have to be fundamentally reformulated to be in market January 1st, or they're simply not going to be on the shelves starting on January 1st. Other things like I use Quick Detailer.
What's that?
It's stuff you spray on the car to clean it quickly.
Okay.
And because I'm driving new cars every week, sometimes they get a little dirty, and I want to clean them up to be on camera. So I'll use that and clean up. A lot of that stuff is going to have to be reformulated, or again, we're not going to see it as of January 1st.
Well, I guess as far as reformulation, I mean, maybe it won't work as well, or they're going to have to change the recipe, I guess. But they're still going to call it WD. They're still going to call it Brake Clean, right?
Yeah, and we heard from WD-40 already, and they're planning to reformulate the product, and that's been in the works for a while because they've been aware of the legislation for the last 2 years, but mainstream media hasn't touched it, and it's going to be a surprise to a lot of people. And joining us on the phone is David Tait from Elegant Motoring. David, how are you?
Hey guys, very well. How are you guys?
Good.
And you're a guy who uses those cleaning and polishing products all the time.
All the time.
And so how do you think it's going to affect your business?
We've seen changes over the years with different things. They've taken stuff away in the industry and in industries that are right beside us, right? Like paint. And to be honest with you, a lot of times the changes are, environmentally they're for the better, but the job still gets done. At the end of the day, whether they're reformulating the products or not, the job is still getting done.
The funny thing is that there are about 200 VOCs that are still allowed. They're exempt, and it's funny that the things that the federal government is still going to allow, even though they're clearly a VOC and can be caustic to humans, they're still exempt from this legislation.
Like which?
Acetone.
Okay.
That's a great example, right?
That is a great example.
Yeah. So you pop open a container of nail polish remover, take a sniff of that. It's just bad all around for humans and probably the environment too. But acetone, no problem, totally exempt.
I wonder why.
You wonder why.
But I could tell you from someone who ran a service business for 40 odd years, if somebody's car breaks down and they have a nail or hair appointment that they've been waiting for weeks for, you don't want to mess with that, okay? It's true. It's
Absolutely.
true. It's true.
Absolutely.
So, David, like Brake Clean. When Brake Clean was invented, and I don't know how long ago it was, maybe only 10 or 15 years ago, because we never saw it before that. But that stuff was magic.
It
is magic. I love using it.
I've
used stuff out in California where the regulations are similar. Man,
It's
I
not
don't
quite
love.
the,
I
it's
don't
not
love.
quite the same, is it?
I mean, I had a can under the front counter, and basically it was for either me seeing the stain or the customer saying, "Your guy's got grease on my carpet," okay, and or on the seat, and it was great for that. Now I'm wondering, is there going to be a substitute chemical, or just again it won't be as good? Do you have any idea, Dave?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it probably won't be as good, especially in the beginning, as until they start to refine it, right?
Right.
Whatever the new product is, but they will find something, and yeah, it might take a little bit more elbow grease to get it out initially, but just like everyone screamed when there was no when they took away solvent-based paint. Or clear coat, and everything went waterborne. Cars are still getting delivered. They still have beautiful paint jobs, so on and so forth. Are the paint jobs as durable? No, they're not. Right. But is anyone complaining or even noticing that difference, at the end user level?
But there are products you can put on the paint now to protect them, right?
100%. And that hence that's my industry now. And who knows, maybe we'll get shut down soon.
Well, let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
For the meantime, how do they reach you if they want their car detailed or ceramically coated?
Just give us a call at 416-897-5675 or hit us up online at elegantmotoring.ca.
All right. In the meantime, you better pump up the muscles because you're going to need that extra elbow grease to get those carpet stains cleaned. All righty? Have yourself a good one, bud.
You as well. Cheers. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. All right. After the break, we're going to be back with us.
With all of us in the studio.
Yeah, I want to find out really how deep New gets into her, the service industry and like what happens to her nails.
What nails?
Exactly.
This is
I
Dave's
brake clean them.
Well, you don't have acetone anymore. Well, this is Dave's Corner Garage. We'll be right back.
Now,
Welcome back to Dave's Corner Garage. I'm Brian Max in studio with Alan Gelman and Nguyen from Pfaff Tuning. And I follow you on social media, Nu, so you're always working on cool stuff.
Lucky.
You're very fortunate because you're not working on little economy cars. You're working on some very interesting projects. What's captured your interest lately?
Lately, I'm actually finishing up a bunch of small, quick jobs so I can get back to a pretty in-depth restoration of an 82 911.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, normally when a vehicle like that comes in, I mean, obviously it's not someone's daily driver, right? And of course you discuss what the customer wants in terms of what they're getting cleaned up or fixed or whatever.
The depth of the job that they want.
Right. And I guess to a certain point, you talk about budget, but how long could something possibly stay at your shop?
This car, I pulled the engine out just before Christmas. We just got the engine parts back. Body shop sent the body out because it had been rear-ended some time ago. And they had the car up until midsummer. So some of the projects grow definitely long in the teeth. But I mean, and especially with scarcity of parts and all of these things now, sometimes they just do that. But we communicate with the client. They understand how things work. Everything works out.
Is there billing that goes on during the time? Like, do they have to pay a monthly sort of as you have
No.
Or
I'm not
drop
sure.
a big deposit in the first place?
You know what? I'm not entirely sure. I just work on the cars.
Sure, I'm not the financial expert here. I just fixed the car. Okay.
That's the business office's problem,
Yeah.
right?
But thinking out loud, I mean, so we pulled out the motor and then we sent the body out. I mean, we're talking, huge money here.
Months and months, yeah.
Do you have any idea what the value of that vehicle would be?
What it would be once done, I'm not sure.
Aside from your invoice.
Well, the air-cooled 911 are really sought after right now. The prices have gone up. This one is not. It's not a turbo or a special model.
So
but
it could be more that just the owner himself has some
It
attachment.
definitely is.
You
It
know,
definitely is
this
sentimental
was my
value
first
at this
Porsche,
point.
and I love it, and I don't care what it costs.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, for this one.
I saw one of those snake oil salesman car influencers on Instagram the other day with a thing about, oh, you can drive. Here's how to drive a 911 for free, and his advice was just to buy a 911 and wait for it to appreciate.
Well, they have gone through the roof, but and can you still get a clutch?
Yeah, I mean, I get almost all of the parts I need.
No. Sorry. No. I just meant, can you still get a new Porsche with standard shift?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
there's a couple
yes.
of them. Yeah.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
The last 911 I reviewed was a 7-speed manual.
Really?
Yeah. And I rarely use 7th gear. I was on the highway in 6th. It made a lot more sense.
I don't think Porsche will ever. I don't know. I hope not. The fan base is too specific.
Yeah, I think the car companies, especially on the enthusiast end of things, and the market have finally aligned. Where, the rationale is, we're talking about road cars. We're not talking about race cars. If we're building race cars, we'll do an automated gearbox. But we're talking about road cars that are meant to be fun and a great way to engage and feel more involved in the driving experience.
Which Porsche owners are. They're that type of driver.
Yeah. So you get a manual gearbox. And I don't think Porsche's going away. BMW has more than said they're going away from manuals, and it's unfortunate because I drove an M2 recently with the manual, and it was really good. Like it was very enjoyable. Even M2s are big cars now, but it was still fun to drive.
Yeah, my favorites are always manual.
Now, where did you get most of your training? Locally, or did they send you to Germany or somewhere else?
For Porsche,
Yeah.
all of my classic training was in California.
Uh-huh.
I had some training in Atlanta, and there's a new academy here. And so I was going, if it was new product training, it would be here.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started out, it was in Atlanta, but all of the classic training was in California.
And wow, and the dealer foots the bill for that to send you all over these places?
Correct.
Wow. She must be good.
The Porsche business is a lucrative business.
I hope so. And the classic curriculum that they had just come up with at that time was something that they were really pushing, and not everyone follows that path. So I think that once somebody showed some interest,
The classic curriculum, you mean how to fix the older cars?
exactly.
Okay,
exactly,
okay.
Specifically the air cooled.
Yeah, those are different beasts, and now of course cars are much more complex with lots of computers on board and lots of different systems, lots of turbocharging, sophisticated transmission. So it's got to be a joy to work on some of this older
Oh man,
stuff.
it really, really is. I'm a straightforward person, fairly simple, I would think, and just that type of technology or engineering makes more sense to me. I get lost in some of the new stuff.
And how about driving them in the end?
I don't get aggressive as I should probably, but because
Well, you got to return it to the customer in one piece. You don't want to break it.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
my
yeah.
car. I respect it, but you really have to put it through its paces sometimes to make sure that you're delivering what you should be delivering.
Actually, important schooling for me was many, many years ago when I was just an apprentice, and I brought the car back and I said to the foreman, the car's driving perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. He said, well, how did you drive it? And I said, like I would drive. He said, no. You have to look at the work order and see if you have any idea of who this person could possibly be, because people drive differently. And in this particular case, it was an older lady who drove it, and the foreman knew her and said, she drives like 3 miles an hour, okay? And so when you take it for a road test, you probably put your foot to the floor because you drive like a teenager still, and you're not going to experience the same thing as they're going to feel.
That's right.
And then it was quite a learning lesson, and it made a lot of sense. And then years later, I had just the opposite, where this lady drops off a cabriolet, a Rabbit convertible.
Oh yeah.
And she complained about it stalling, and I'm driving it, and it's driving perfect. So she said, "Did you find something?" I said, I would like to tell you that I did, and I would have fixed it and charged it, and we all would have been very happy. But I never experienced it, so I don't even know where else to start looking on the car. She says, and she was angry, and I said, well, I can't believe it didn't stall. And I went, well, if you'd like, why don't you come by and maybe we could drive it together and you can show me what it was doing, because otherwise I don't want to start doing work on your car that's not going to fix it and you're not going to be happy. And so she came and we went for a road test. and how she made it stall was about 3 feet before the stop sign, she would hammer the brakes. Okay, just hammer the brakes and practically, breaking the rubber. And after the second time of doing that, the car stalled. And I looked at her and I went, "Do you drive like this all the time?" And she said, "What are you talking about?" And I scared the daylights out of me. And I said, and I would have never tried to do that.
Sure.
And I never expected this demure lady to drive like an idiot, but yeah, but that's how we figured it out. Because otherwise, again, we never would have experienced it. So, and I guess too, you must go for ride with customers at times.
Yeah, a lot of the times, especially for things like squeaks and rattles.
Right.
And then go to fix it, but that's not the.
It's not the right one.
Exactly.
Yes.
We spent a whole day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it, but I drove a very interesting resto mod. I can't discuss it on air because it belongs to somebody famous. But technically, I broke it while I was driving it. And
what did you do?
I literally drove the car, a wired connection.
Oh,
came
shoot.
apart while I was just driving down the street.
Well,
yes.
That was bound to happen.
Yeah, eventually it was going to happen because it certainly wasn't my driving, and I we're talking about several $100,000, and I'm driving really easy, and unfortunately the thing stalled, wouldn't restart, couldn't figure it out, and turned out we figured it out hours later.
You broke it.
I broke it. Yeah.
He broke on his watch.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, unfortunately, I mean that's part of the business is that things happen before or after, or you can't get them to happen, and then you don't know where to go. But again, and then people, especially mind you, in your end, you're talking about higher end vehicles, eh? And not talking about budget cars.
No. And even for when I'm rebuilding, working on some of the classic air cooled. Knowing and understanding the driver and their style is really important because I can change cam timing, for example. And so little things like, their preference or their style of driving plays some role in how I choose to set up a car or an engine.
And to the point where you can change cam timing to, yeah?
Yeah. I can change the...
And that's mechanical rather than electronic.
Yes, correct,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, this is proper old school stuff.
Yeah,
good German engineering, right?
Yeah, but I remember too, years ago, and I heard a guy in a 911, and I went, "There's something wrong with your car." Apparently, they had big issues with timing chains and tensioners and I said, that sounds like my bicycle. I don't know that should be rattling like that. Yeah.
Actually, I've worked on one where you could see where the chain had been chewing through the case.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not good news.
Yeah.
No, that's when you go, "How long have you been here? Did you not hear this sound?"
How did you not hear that?
Yeah. But people are funny that way. I mean, I had a similar thing where I went with a customer. He said, "I got this funny noise in the front of the car." I said, "Well, let's go for a drive." And I didn't drive 3 feet. And I stopped. And I said, "I thought we were going for a road test." I said, "Did you not hear that noise?" He said, "Well, yeah, but it gets louder, eh?" and it wasn't one wheel bearing, it was two wheel bearings. And I said, "Hang on, this had to have started about 6 months ago." And
you just turn up the music.
Exactly. That was his ploy. I'll turn it up louder. Maybe it'll go away. Wishful thinking, eh? All right. Speaking of wishful thinking, we all hope that things don't go wrong with our cars or our lives, but things do. And we've got a special guest after the break. We've got Vince Beretta. We're going to talk about negative equity and insurance products that he has that could really help. We'll be right back.
The mission of LinkedIn is to connect the world's professionals and make them more successful.
Welcome back to Dave's Corner Garage. I'm Brian Max in studio with Alan Gelman and Nguyen from Pfaff Tuning. And joining us on the line is Vince Beretta from Walk Away. Vince, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
How's it going on this fine Saturday?
It's been going great. Had our boy was at hockey tryouts this morning, and we were up bright and early, so all good.
6 o'clock or 7 o'clock?
I think he was on ice at 7. Yeah.
Oh, that's early. That's early. Lots of driving around too, I'm sure.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. Tell us, market conditions have changed. Car prices now are gone through the roof, probably double what they were about 5 years ago. And where are people finding the money, and are they finding the money, or just getting themselves deeper into debt?
Well, debt certainly has increased. It's not so much that the car themselves have doubled, but car payments have, of course, with interest rates and the competition for inventory, which is starting to come down. There's inventory starting to build in certain manufacturers.
Hello.
We may have lost Vince.
Oh, okay. Well,
You got me?
Oh,
Yeah,
now we got you.
back.
Now we got you.
Yeah.
All right, you talk about inventory and how the dealers have cars now. Now, is that going to bring the prices down or send them up?
It's the prices are starting to come down. Incentives are starting to come back in certain areas, and in certain inventories that are, of course, accumulating on dealers' lots. As soon as that starts happening, prices start to come down, and affects consumers' position in their car loan with, the negative equity in car loans. And for a reminder for your listeners, negative equity is the difference between what you owe for your car and what your car is actually worth. And sometimes that can come and bite you if you were to, example, have a total loss, your car's written off, the insurance settlement is $30,000, but you owe $40,000. The insurance company isn't looking after your loan; they're looking after the value of the car that got written off. So that leaves consumers with, holding in that scenario a $10,000 amount of money that they'd either have to pay out of their own pocket, which isn't really happening anymore these days, or they have to finance that amount into their next car loan. And that just exacerbates an issue of having more and more negative equity. And that's what we do in Walkaway. We look after negative equity in auto lending and leasing. And you can buy either a total loss policy and a walkaway policy. And a total loss policy is something that would happen to a car. So it gets written off, stolen, tree falls on it, flood damage, all those types of things. And it gets written off that way. And we look after the difference between the insurance settlement and your loan. And then the walkaway is for the person. If something were to happen to an individual, you lose an income from a disability or a job loss, or you get transferred out of the country, become critically ill, these types of things. There's 7 to 11 different reasons to use walkaway. We allow the consumer to either return the car and walk away from the difference, so they no longer have a car payment, or we will make car payments for the consumer on their behalf until they are back to work, or they're back on their feet again, that sort of thing. So that's how we aid consumers when they're financing and or leasing cars.
All right, so just to be clear, I mean, if someone's in a negative equity situation where their car is worth 40, but they owe 50, if they lose the car, your insurance will cover the 50 or the 40?
We cover the difference between the 40 and the 50.
Okay.
So the dealer buys the car back at what the actual cash value of the car at 40, and we come up with a check for $10,000, and we make the entire loan go away, and your credit rating stays intact.
Wow,
that's pretty slick, and the cost is pretty reasonable, isn't it, Vince?
In fact, 12 months of walkaway is no charge, paid for by the dealer. So if you go to an authorized walkaway dealer, you are entitled to 12 months of no charge walkaway. It's our basic policy. It covers 6 different events, life events, including job loss, disability, and that sort of thing. You can find more information out at insuranceinsight.ca or insuranceinsight.ca, and I think walkaway.ca will still take you there. And then everyone has the option to extend and enhance the coverages, and the enhancements would include making payments for consumers, so they don't have to return their car, and we will make payments for them, and hopefully they get back up on their feet, and they can continue on their way with the car that they bought and their credit rating intact, which is very important these days. keeping a clean credit rating. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been doing it for 25 years. It's our 25th anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We have, I think the amount of debt we've settled for Canadians is approaching $150 million. And that's a great milestone for us. And so there you go. That's the story.
All right, Vince, thank you for joining us. Insuranceinsight.ca.
Insuranceinsight.ca. That's right.
Okay. Or Walkaway Finance. There you go.
Walkaway.ca. Talk to you later. Thanks, Alan.
All right.
Walkaway.ca.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Who did that song? Walk This Way? Aerosmith?
Aerosmith. That's right.
Walk Away. Great product.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Well, you never know. You break a leg, you lose your job.
That's
right. They'll make up the difference. All right, we got to run. We'll be right back.
Care to state your opinion?
Welcome back to Dave's Corner Garage. I'm Brian Max in studio with Alan Gelman and Nguyen from Pfaff Tuning. And it's fall's here, isn't it?
It is, and that means it's time to change those tires, or certainly make an appointment or think about it.
Think about it, at least.
Well, it's probably time to make an appointment because by the time you think about it, your favorite tire specialist is going to be out of appointments.
This is true.
Well, unless you're going to go to Pfaff for a total rebuild, and then you don't need it all winter because it's going to be there all winter anyways, you know.
For next fall.
They'd be charging your rent, and then you have to get it detailed for the cobwebs afterwards, you know.
Well, I don't know. I bet you when News 9/11 project is done, it's going to be spotless. It's going to be
excited.
immaculate. Yeah,
well, sure. Afterwards, it's going to the detail shop, you know. I mean,
Absolutely.
But her fingerprints will be somewhere there.
Where you least expect it.
Ew. Well, I had to move the seat. What do you want? You know, I didn't realize my hands were greasy. Heard every excuse under the sun.
I'm sure.
Now, at your shop, you do different manufacturers' vehicles, right? Now, do you actually work on other things other than Porsche, or that's your lane and you're busy with Porsche all day?
I am busy with Porsche all day, but there are sometimes lulls. We see a lot of cars come in on consignment and, you know, for sale. So, you know, sometimes I'll do a safety here and there.
Right.
But
now, what about regular maintenance? You get into that at all, or not really at that
yes
shop?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
We have some clients that will bring their cars in for regular maintenance. For the most part, it's tuning. It's more classic restoration. But we do see a lot of cars that just come in for regular stuff.
Yeah, well, see, and I just did normal cars. I mean, I didn't do high-end stuff, but I saw a video. You know, there's so many things on your screen going on. Here's another one. And it was a guy complaining that it cost too much money to get the oil change on his Lamborghini or something. And
gotta pay to play.
That's right.
Yeah. And I watched and I went, no, seriously, they couldn't have made it like that. You know, the manufacturer. And he went, yeah, they did.
They did.
Sorry, you got to take off the front clip, you know, to get the oil change, you know, to get the filter off. And I went, no way, they couldn't have made something like that.
But they did, and you know, it's like
$1,000 or $1,500 they want for an oil change.
But you know, it's like Ferrari having timing belts for decades and decades. Like, why would they do that? But they did, and it's good business for, you know, the dealers and aftermarket shops because they got to change the timing belts every couple of years.
But it's a big job, you know. Like, you know, I mean, I don't pity the Lamborghini or the Ferrari driver that has to pay to maintain their car. It's kind of hard to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the truth is, you know, like a lot of people who have money still don't want to spend it necessarily.
I get it. But maintaining your vehicle is part of vehicle ownership. End of story. You know,
that's it. And you can't skimp on that stuff, especially, you know, you're driving a Lamborghini that's 5, 6, 7, 800 horsepower.
Yeah.
You have to look after it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, you're going to leave you high and dry, or you're going to break it and do really big damage.
And then,
exactly.
That's a bigger bill if you pop the motor.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you have to change the oil?
Who knew?
I thought it came with oil. Yeah, but again, you know, you'd think for the most part that, mind you, anybody with money can buy whatever they want. I mean, doesn't necessarily know that doesn't mean that they've done any research or know anything about the vehicle at all.
I feel like vehicle ownership is like that for the most part.
Yeah,
People don't realize
for the
that.
Part.
Yeah.
But I think your clientele, they're enthusiasts. They're very interested in looking after their cars.
Yeah, the majority of them are. Some of them just want to put cool, loud bits on.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's the latest craze, is putting these free flow exhausts on big old luxury sedans.
Is it latest? Is it the
It's
latest?
been around,
I
it's
don't
been
know,
around
but
forever.
No, but they never put them on big sedans. It'd be on a sporty car to make it
Yeah,
sound
that's true.
sportier.
I'll see, big trucks with exhaust and big wheels, and it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah. I do like seeing those big luxury sedans from a couple decades ago where, they did come with big motors, V8s and whatever. And now, of course, they've depreciated to the point where, all kinds of people can afford them. And and some of these owners will throw on, loud exhausts on what was, a very elegant luxury sedan.
Yeah,
that's
but
the fun part, right? Bastardizing it sometimes.
Some days. I've been down a rabbit hole of resto mods lately, and there's some really, really cool stuff going on in that space. But I'm just looking for a mobile cigar lounge. I need a convertible resto mod of some sort. That's what I need.
Okay. Actually, a buddy of mine's got. He was so excited, and to me, it looked like a piece of crap. But it was one of these rust ones where they put a clear coat.
Patina.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was an old Dodge pickup truck that somebody put a big diesel into with a turbo, and I said, "Oh my God, it was so nasty to drive, though."
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, that's no good. They're supposed to. The whole idea of a resto mod is to improve the driving experience
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Modernize it so that it's more usable.
But they sold us based on the fact that it was on this resto show on television.
Therein lies the problem.
Yes.
And exactly. And then it came to me to get fixed, and I went, "Who did this?"
Oh no!
Right, because it was rank amateurs, and it just had to look good for 30 minutes
for television.
Yeah. But you don't get anything like that in your shop.
Yes, we have seen lots of cars that were or have been, resto modded or built somewhere, and you do see some of that kind of work sometimes, and it's disappointing.
So how often do you have to say, what monkey was working on this car?
More often than we should, but not all the time. But more often.
Probably bring your colleagues over. Hey, look at this.
Yes, we do. Parking brake is routed where? We do see it.
Yeah, and they can't understand. What's that sound? You're supposed to go over the drive shaft.
Why is there a loop there? But the thing is, people have put a lot of money into those builds. They don't realize sometimes, the work could have been better. But then at the same time, there's a line. You can't put 100. You have to, but you sometimes can't because everything just costs more money than you anticipated, and it's a very difficult balancing act.
Now, question: you've been around for a number of years already. Are you seeing any younger people getting into the field?
Lots of younger people, actually. I see them a lot through my social media. People, boys and girls, just we really love to see what you're doing. This is what we want to get into. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm glamorizing it, but I love what I do, and I feel like there's lots of people my age and younger that are just as excited.
That's great, and they can make a career out of it and do well by it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and as we know, we had Todd Burgon from MVRO on a couple of weeks ago, and they're saying that just this year there's a shortage of 3,000 technicians.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. I know Pfaff actually is, the industry is flat rate. Pfaff has started I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this.
Maybe not. I don't know.
But they're trying or planning on trying something that's really exciting that will help to recruit, I think, and keep technicians in the industry. Definitely.
So in other words, no. I don't think there's anything to shy away from. I mean, you could go to an hourly kind of wage rather than a piecework kind of thing.
Well, it flat rate is not universal. It's something we experience here and some of the other provinces, but not all provinces.
Right.
So it is a thing.
Right.
We're just kind of still doing it here.
Hey, they have a whole book, and it's called the Flat Rate Book, where there's a time in there for every job out there.
It's true. But I mean, that's for the car as it rolls off the lot. You don't take into account my work that's been sitting around for 30, 40 years.
Exactly, or forgetting the fact that the car's 30 years old.
Exactly. Or somebody else has put their hands on it, and now you got to undo what they did and then fix on top.
Right. What do we do with all these banana skins here?
Oh.
All right, we got to run. Thank you very much. for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us, New.
All right, bye, everybody. Drive safe. And if you got a hot car, New wants to take care of it for you.
I do.
All right, bye-bye.
Good morning. I'm Jeremy Logan.